I have 11 of Dr. Wu's small transformers, and I'm going to go through them with you. I'm Captain Kyle. If you don't recognize me, welcome to the channel. If you do recognize me, what took you so long to come back? Okay, you were watching other videos. But these are from Dr. Wu. They are the small transformers that he makes. They're kind of in the scale of world's smallest transformers, but much better. And some people say they're even better than the big scale ones. And I'm going to go through all these guys bit by bit, and maybe you'll see them and say, hey, I want these for my collection. Or maybe you won't, but that's why you watch these reviews, right? Be right back. So the ones that I have today, I have a version of Inferno, Ultra Magnus. He's called the Technical Commander. Inferno is called the Fire Ladder. Hey, there you go. We also have the Prime Commander Toxic Limited, so Toxitron. We have Sandstorm and a black version of Cosmos that they actually called Pathfinder, because as I recall, Pathfinder was actually in the Gobots and he was kind of a silver and black. But anyway, that one's black. And then we have a G2 Ramjet and a very interesting colored version of Cosmos called Heaven Eye. We have, okay, is that right? Okay. I thought it said Space Dick, but it says Space Disc for this Cosmos. And you have Turbo, which is a Gobot name, but it's Ramjet. And then we have Propel and Elegy. Now I gotta admit, I did a review of Propel and Elegy before, but they were in different colors. I didn't realize they were meant to be like the shattered glass versions. I probably still wouldn't use them as shattered glass versions. I would just throw them in with the other Seekers, because the more Seekers, the better. All right, so let's go through these guys. First, I'm gonna quickly go through the Space Disc and Turbo, which is basically, again, Cosmos and Ramjet. All right, taking them out of this package, which it's a nice package, nice artwork on it. See, they even got a nice collector card. And pictures of them on the back, but we'd rather see them in person. Now this is in the plastic. You can see the Space Disc and Turbo, and we are gonna take them out of this plastic prison, like so, very carefully. So you have to put Turbo's wings down and his tail fins up so he can be in Ramjet mode. And these guys are so small, I really gotta zoom in. And Cosmos Space Disc. Space Dick just sounds so dirty. Space Disc here. You know, you don't have to modify him, but yeah, pretty cool versions of Ramjet and Cosmos. So obviously in vehicle mode, you can't do much except. Now Ramjet has a tendency to ram into things, so you could have all kinds of collisions, but you can see he's got his missiles here, tail fins. It looks good. Cosmos doesn't really have any accessories hanging off of him, so he just flies around and it's like, hey man, where's Blaster? We want to have some music blasting, oh yeah. I do a much better tracks than I do Cosmos, but c'est la vie. Now I'm gonna quickly get these guys into their robot modes, and I will say that the transformations have always been kind of impressive, the way that they are just very clever in the way that they move around. It's actually a transformation that I wouldn't mind seeing in some of the Hasbro Seekers. And of course, Sky has joined me because she likes small Transformers and batting them around. And she's gone. I guess she realized she wasn't going to be able to bat them around too much today. So there they are, Cosmos and Ramjet. I'm going to call them that from now on because I don't want to accidentally say Space Dick again. Oh, but they look pretty cool from all angles. Just got to point that nose cone down. And just to go quickly through the posability in case you're not familiar with these things, they're pretty darn impressive. I mean, no ankle swivels or anything, but almost a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. Can kick forward and back, bends at the knee. No swivels, but you know, it's tiny. Head doesn't turn, but the arms have a lot of motion and can bend at the elbow, so you can pretty much do whatever you need to do with these arms. Bends, and even adds a bit of a swivel because it's a ball joint in there. And Ramjet is a whopping like 2 1/8 inches tall. Cosmos is a little shorter. He is like 1 3/4 inches tall. tall. So they're very cool toys, posability-wise on, well, Cosmos is a little stockier. He can kind of sit down, but in addition to his ability to sit, he can actually do a full, pretty much, Jean-Claude Van Damme. Almost full. Because of the way his legs are structured, it doesn't quite allow it to go all the way down. But he can kick forward, he can kick back, he can kick to the side, and you can put it way up there if you tilt him. He does have some waist articulation, but because of the attachment on its back, it can't really go that far. But it does twist around when it needs to. His arms can go all the way around, and he's got kind of a hinge for his elbow, so there's no swivel. There's no ball joint for there to be a swivel, but he does bend at the elbow. And of course, his head can turn, so it's trade-offs. So he can turn to Ramjet and be like, man, you really just can't turn your head. Which actually, I think you might be able to slightly. Yeah, I'm actually getting a little bit of head turnage from Ramjet. It's just because it's so small, it's kind of hard to maneuver. Might be able to turn it all the way around, but it slips off the fingers. So, Cosmos and Ramjet. Now, Propel and Elegy, I have a full video going through these guys, but these are the regular G1 colors. Those were the Shattered Glass colors. And they got cards. I think I had actually opened up Ramjet and Cosmos before this, so misplaced the card and instructions for that set. But Propel and Elegy, the normal colors, very cool looking. There's, okay, Dirge. I see what they're trying to do with the names there. And Thrust, or Propel, very nice representations of their G1 forms, and just very detailed. So there's Thrust and Dirge. Thrust wants to fall over. We're not gonna let that stand. Wait, we're gonna make him stand. But turning it very slowly, they still fall over. I mean, they do have small feet, but still they look good from all sides, even if they fall over. And putting the three cone heads together, Thrust, don't be a bitch. You can see they look very cool as a set. I mean, only Thrust and Dirge come together. But Ramjet is the third wing? Now, G2 Ramjet has always been a fun Transformer to have. And I guess they kind of made up for the fact that, you know, he wasn't in, at least the commercial I saw, by putting him in G2, but not Thrust and Dirge. So, ha, you guys. But there you go with the G2 Jet and Heaven Eye. And in the interest of time, I'm going to break out Sand Dust. Oh, oddly, his card says Turbo, who's basically a Sandstorm, who was another repaint of Ramjet. See, guys, Ramjet's the shit. He gets all the repaints. And again, Pathfinder, who actually, now that I'm seeing it, does resemble the Gobot a lot more than I thought. So those are those particular repaints. And just so I can have a standing army, I will put these guys in their robot modes. I really like the iridescent colors on Heaven Eye. I mean, that is some G2 European shit right there. So there they are, Pathfinder, Heaven Eye, Sand Dust, and Turbo. So of course, G2 Ramjet, Sandstorm, Pathfinder, yes, and I don't know what Heaven Eye would be called otherwise. Psychedelic Cosmos. But it is great that I can add to my Seeker collection with all these dudes. My mini Starscream's gonna be like, more troops for me to command. Megatron doesn't stand a chance. Maybe he'll stop telling me those jokes. Very cool. And then to have these three spacecraft. I mean, who doesn't love Cosmos? I mean, I think we proved that with the Speedia version that just sold out and was so hard to find for so long. But all these different versions of Cosmos, very cool. Having a Gobot, and then, I don't know, we'll come up with a name that's better than Heaven Eye. So those are obviously a bunch of repaints. Let's take a look first at Inferno. So he has a fire engine, not a fire ant. You figured that out, because you be smart. Me be smart too. It's got a nice little card that calls him Fire Ladder. That's right, my name's Fire Ladder. And you can see him there in the plastic, little shiny. And he comes with the fire hose. You get to drink from the fire hose. If you haven't seen that movie, go watch it. Now, he's a mini dude, so I'm not expecting him to exactly be the best at rolling. There he is in his fire engine mode. We'll zoom in a little bit more so you can see even more detail. Looks pretty cool. He's got, fake hoses on the side and a movable ladder and a movable additional hose here. A decent little fire engine. Someone would look at this and say, hey, that's a fire engine. Because, it's a fire engine. Now, I'm curious if you can put, it looks like you can put the fire engine thing on the front, so if you're showing him in vehicle mode, it's not just somewhere weird. Now, for whatever reason, I love Dr. Wu's stuff, but the instructions always show them going from robot mode into vehicle mode, but he's packaging them in vehicle mode. So that is not fun. Not that it's that difficult to figure out. In fact, this transformation seems an awful lot like the original G1, though I just noticed something pretty clever is the rotating ladder. The old rotating ladder trick, eh? Part of the transformation actually reminds me a little bit of the new version that came out in Earthrise Legacy. Whatever the last one was, the feet are definitely very similar. So there's Inferno, standing at a whopping 2 1/4 inches tall. And there he is with his fire hose. Doesn't really show you how to put it on, but I just kind of figured it out and slid it on. Very cool version of everybody's favorite enthusiastic fighting fire truck. And he's actually pretty poseable with a full Jean-Claude Van Damme. Kicks forward nicely, kicks backward nicely. Does not twist at the waist, but his head can kind of turn a little bit. It's in that little box. Turn too far, he can't see anyway, so you don't want to do that. Arms all the way around, though it kind of puts his little wings up here. Got to push him back out of the way. Bends at the elbow, swivels. He's got a nice little nozzle here so he can fight fires, and the wings, you can make them flap. Not that that's going to help him fly. But very cool version of Inferno. And again, very, very small. Let's check out the Tactical Commander. Blur, what are you doing out of rehab? Springer, UNRC, Transform Autobot City. Now, I already know I'm going to really like this because, one, it's got basically an Optimus Prime style bot in there and the trailer. And all these accessories, which includes an axe, I guess that's for the Prime robot, a Ultra Magnus gun, and shoulder missile launchers. This one's going to be cool. So there's the Inner Prime bot, and there's his trailer. So first of all, cool looking version of Optimus, well, Ultra Magnus in his white mode. Now these have to flip down to put him fully in his Optimus mode. There you go. He's just a white Optimus with blue legs in this case. But just to concentrate on the cab portion robot, I mean, blue legs are nice. Full Jean-Claude Van Damme. He of course kicks forward and back and to the side. Now he doesn't have waist articulation, he has chest articulation. So he can swivel at the chest, which is kind of weird. But that's part of the transformation, so that's what you get. And of course his arms can go all the way around, bend at the elbow, and because there is a ball joint in there, he can swivel. So that's kind of nice. And the head, of course, can turn all the way around as if he is possessed by the power of the Matrix. So a cool little white Ultra Magnus cab. And there it is as a cab, the red stripe along there, and you can take the trailer and attach it so you have a car carrier, just like the original Ultra Magnus. Now, I think there might have been a world's smallest Ultra Magnus, but he was just the cab. It's a repaint of Optimus. He did not have the trailer. But what we really want to see is Magnus mode. So there he is as Ultra Magnus. I have to say, the transformation and the moving around the parts wasn't bad. It's getting the cab to stick inside that is a pain in the ass. And I don't even want to move it around too much. I mean, the feet move, he's got knees, he's got a gun and swivel and, all that wonderful stuff. You can even turn the head. Not everything plugs in the way I expected it to plug in, so it's a little disappointing. So I'm not as happy with him as with the others, but it's pretty easy for this to come out. It's just a tad bit disappointing. If you have him in this mode, he's fine for display, but if you maneuver him too much, he can, of course, fall apart very easily. I'm not sure if I'm missing certain things that need to plug in. There's lots of obvious things that should plug in, and he's got pretty good articulation until he falls apart. I don't know if I'm doing something wrong with it, but I mean, it's a good display piece, but maneuvering it around, this isn't one I would fiddle with a lot. See, just fell out right there. I mean, the instructions show a lot, but they don't really show the most important part, which is putting this thing together. So this is my first disappointment from Dr. Wu. I mean, it's impressive otherwise, but yeah, I just don't think he holds together that well as Ultra Magnus. He just fell apart. All right, our final piece is actually a repaint of one that I did before, which was the Purple Commander. This is the Prime Commander Toxicron, so Toxitron, which is cool. He's got the nice trailer, and he's got Toxitron in his robot mode. Now, if I open the trailer, hopefully I'll find some neat stuff, like a little toxic roller, an arm, a gun, a battle axe, another repair arm. So definitely a cool version. Again, similar to the Purple Commander, except in coloration. The gun, which I find interesting, goes over the fist and not into it, and seems to go better in his right hand. The battle axe goes over the other hand, so he's pretty cool. Now, if you didn't see the Prime Commander one, then just again, the posability, the same as that Ultra Magnus that's falling apart, his cab version, which there was really nothing wrong with that cab version. But cool warrior, comes with a roller. You can put the trailer together, put roller inside. You can store the weapons inside if you're gonna display him in his vehicle mode. And it's definitely a cool transformation, a clever transformation, and he can pull his trailer all over the place. So of these 11, 10 I'm very happy with. I'm gonna probably fiddle around some more with this Ultra Magnus. This is the first time taking him out, so maybe there's something that I'm missing, and with a little patience I could figure it out. But right now I'm not seeing a very good way to have him stay in this mode. I mean, there seems like there's so many ways they could have figured out how to plunk him together, and they don't seem to be really using any of them. So there you go, Autobots and Gobot allies versus a whole bunch of Seekers led by the evil Toxitron. Wahahaha. But there you have them, 11 new Dr. Wus. I'll put links in the description to these guys. I like most of them. Again, maybe I'll figure out the Ultra Magnus and I'll have to do another video just to explain the error of my ways. Or, you know, if you have some clues, leave them in the comments. But I'll put links to all these guys in the description. Check that out, and definitely recommend getting all the Dr. Wu small stuff, because compared to World's Smallest Transformers, which were very cool and clever at the time, these are much more posable. These jets could be on Tidal Wave. There you go. So definitely recommend them. But while you're mulling them over, you can check out this video over here of a bunch of other ones that are different molds, like Soundwave and Blaster and stuff. Cool video to check out. And again, I hope you're enjoying these videos as much as I'm enjoying them. But we'll see you next time. As always, have fun and good hunting.